Hello everybody and welcome back. My name is Winback, and on today's episode of Heroes of the Storm, we're going to be playing Leoric, the one and only undead skeleton king in the entire roster. He is a zombie and he's got a mace and he swings really slow, and things are going to be different. So Leoric's seen some build changes recently, especially with the onset of CCL, and I am going to give him a shot because I am used to playing Leoric in a very specific way, and I haven't touched the character in quite a while. So this is a YouTube video. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe your heart out. I appreciate everything that you guys do. Oh my god, this mother... He's dead. Why are you there? Your whole team was missing. What did you do? Okay, well, the enemy team obviously not giving a single solitary fuck about where they are or who they are, and this is what we do. Team comps today are going to be Imperius, Orphea, Leoric, Zarya, Kel'Thuzad versus Nazeebo, Gazlo, Hogger, Tassadar, and Abathur. What? This is a quick match game, so don't expect great comps out of this. I'm also going to be kind of meme building Leoric because I have wanted to play March of the Black King for a while, and there is a very specific build that you have to take to make it good, so we're going to do that and hope it doesn't suck. Now, the reason that I'm comfortable doing that is because I have the KT on my team, which is going to squish people together for me, making it easier to land our March of the Black King. Same thing with Imperius. If Imperius spears off of a KT combo, or vice versa, or Zarya gets a squish ult, we could potentially land some big ults with that. So I don't need you here, my man. I don't care if there's two people on the enemy team up here. It's too early in the game for kills to matter, and I am just going to... Okay, it's fine. Stay here. I'll just keep pinging until you leave. But anyway, March of the Black King is the carry ult for Leoric. So basically, what you're going to do with Entomb is set your team up for big kills, big picks, and relatively low cooldown. But with March, you're going to be the one to work off of the setup, or work off of the big clumping of the enemy team and do shit loads of damage. So we'll talk about March, but our abilities with Leoric are going to start off with the Skeletal Swing. Leoric is going to deal 183 damage at level 4, level 5, my bad, and slow enemies by 40%, which is ridiculous, for 2.5 seconds. This is going to give us half the cooldown back if we hit a hero with the Q, which is really, really, really good because the cooldown itself is a 12-second cooldown, and if you can drop it to 6, you're going to have a better time. Just slowing people, and then if you take the talent at level 1, you can actually heal yourself with this ability as well. I don't know why people keep coming up here. Like, what do you think is going to happen there? He's under his tower? So just fuck off. I'm full health. I'm great. I'm going to get the temple here in a second. Go do other things. I know it's quick match. It's a little bit tough to wrap your brain around what is possible. But the enemy team obviously doesn't understand what they need to do. So my bored team just needs to find better stuff on the map to do, because all of our lanes are pushed and we're having a fantastic time, but the enemy team is kind of, just sucking. Ooh! Okay, it didn't root the Hogger, but it would have been really cool, and it's just another stack for KT, so we're just going to ghost walk out of there. And our W, called Drain Hope, or the Sadness Beam, as many people like to call it. Weird. I'm just trying to figure out what the enemy team is really trying to accomplish right now, because we're getting both shrines very easily for some reason on a map where these are the most important part, and your buildings are falling apart, and there's nothing... you're not level 7 yet, so there's no mule. Just weird stuff. Weird stuff. Chain feeding, I guess. Orphea is dead, though, so they got something. And then we're just going to get another kill. I don't know. I'm sorry, I wish I could give you some insight into the enemy team's brain, but it's just a bag full of cats at this moment. So, Drain Hope is going to grab onto an enemy hero's soul, dealing up to 20% of their maximum health as damage and healing Leoric for 20% of his max health while he is nearby. That is a 4-second duration. Leoric's move speed is actually going to be reduced by 20% while it's active. So, There are talents that you can take to upgrade the range, movement speed, and healing of this ability, which we are actually going to pick up at this level, 7. Level 7 all buffs your Drain Hope, though, one way or another. Depending on how you like to play with the character, you can pick any of those. But when you're building this specific build to play with March, what you want to do, and I didn't do in this video because I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing, is pick the range increase for, nope, it's this one, Hopelessness. You want to take the range increase because the range increase is going to increase the tether range of the ability on top of the range that it actually goes when you throw it out. So if you latch onto someone with W that has max range, it also has a longer tether range, which means that you can stay latched onto them longer. And at level 20, when we take the Death March upgrade, those tethers are going to extend that range. So it's going to be stupid good if we had picked it. Yeah. Anyway, the W is Leoric's main form of damage when it comes to especially big beefy characters like Hogger. It's just going to hurt them so much. Losing 20% of your max health and healing Leoric for 20% of his is nuts. So it really makes Leoric a fantastic frontliner. Things hurt real bad when you just stand and try to face tank this character. Our E is called Wraithwalk. Leoric is going to have his body sit in place, and he is going to go into Wraith mode, like you can see just there. While we're in the Wraith mode, our body is completely unstoppable, so we can't be moved from that spot, but we can still take damage. At the end of the duration, or when we cancel the ability, we are going to warp to wherever our ghost is with our actual body, having taken all the damage that was done to us in that time. So it's really good for dodging big CC, really good for getting out of, you know, kind of angry combos from the likes of Gazlowe, or maybe getting through a black hole, or even you can wraith walk through a zombie wall, which is nuts. But it's a really good ability for getting away from really bad stuff. I don't want this monstrosity doing any damage to this fort left unattended. I'm sure it could be in a really annoying piece of shit. So we're just gonna try to kill it. And seeing as how our abilities are all doing increased auto attack damage on the third swing and cleaving damage on the first 2 swings, we can hit this bad boy really hard. So I don't think the Abathur is aware how easy it is for us to kill this. Is that you just bringing me right on back to your body? Excuse me? He dodged, and then he didn't. And then we both died, and I laughed so fucking hard during this game. I cannot tell you what that man was thinking. I can only tell you that it must be a first-time Abathur, because what the fuck was that? Just dragging me over with his big slug to the little slug so I can slug him in the face. Yeah, that was the highlight of my game. What's new with you? You have any good stories about killing Abathurs? Those are always fun. Literally any time that you can kill an Abathur is a good time. Now, our trait I mentioned a little bit ago is a 2-parter. Undying is what's going to happen when Leoric dies. So when we die, we become a ghost, like you can see when we use our E. And when we're a ghost, we're basically just walking around, providing vision for our team. And then when our death timer runs out, we're just going to spawn wherever we're located at on the map with our ghost. But you can reduce your death timer when you are a ghost by landing your W on people. In ghost mode. So the more time that you are latched on with your W, the less time it's going to take for you to respawn. Now you can also use your Q while you're in Wraith form or dead to make it easier to land your W, but it's also extremely good for peeling for your team and annoying the enemy team if you are dead, because you can basically walk around invincible, hit people with a huge 40% slow while you're dead, and save teammates really effectively. It's amazing how useful the ability is in Wraith form. Just gonna look for the big engage here. Gonna hit the Black March of the Black King, nailed it, to get through Gazlowe's Gravel Bomb And then Hogger's going to eat a whole bunch of percentage damage and damage from our Zarya as well. Just fantastic stuff. KT was on those ultimates off of the Zarya ult too. So the enemy team just kind of getting slapped around. I'm not sure they really had any consent in the matter, but here we are. Ice blocking through the combo, but still, is he going to get... He's not going to get the Zarya kill, and now we're just going to run him down with our auto attacks. Not going to hit the root, though, but he did get the slow on his autos. Please, KT, I don't need you here anymore. It's okay to flee. Perfect, he's out. We're all out. He tried to ult on the Tassadar as well, sidestepping the shock ray. Eat a butt, Tassadar, and we are out as well. Now, the... Wrath of the Bone King is the other part of the passive. So Leoric's first 2 basic attacks are going to cleave for 100% of the damage, and his third is going to deal 200% damage to a single target. You've probably seen it happening quite a bit, but it does make Leoric's wave clear insanely good, and it lets him trade really, really hard into other characters in the lane with him. So if you're playing into like Sonya or a Gazlo or something like that, you use your first 2 autos to help clear, and then you use your third auto to just whack them in the face and trade up on them. Not to mention all the damage you can dump onto them with your Sadness Beam, but it's going to be pretty skill-based in the solo. So it's really good. It's really good. The trait, the W, everything about this character is really, really, really good for offlaning. So the build is going to go a little bit differently than I normally would. Typically, I take Consume Vitality at 1 for the decreased cooldown on our Q. That kind of sucks. But I wanted to give Fealty Unto Death a little bit more of a try. This game specifically, I thought I was going to be soaking a lot because of the Abathur. Oh no, KT going to die to the Gargantuan, but Tassadar is going to die to the Imperious, and Nazeebo is only going to ice block at the very end of his life and catch Imperious in a zombie wall. So there's really nothing to worry about. Trading 3 for 2 because KT popped his buyback. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. Really good for us. Another monstrosity we need to deal with. Probably an easy fort too. Fealty Unto Death though at level 1 is going to give you 1.25% of your max health and 6 mana back for every minion that dies around you. Whether that's bad, whether that's good, any kind of minion that dies around you is going to give you that % max health back, which is incredible. So, if you take into account the fact that there are 7 minions in a wave, that's at least 7%. Oh my god. I ulted way too late. Way too late. Could have gotten those kills if I didn't suck at pushing my R button. But both of us are going to live, so it's fine. 7% at least, and then, what is that, another 8... That's 8.5% of your health bar every time that you kill a minion wave. And if your own minion wave dies around you as well, that is... What is that? 16... That's 17% of your maximum life and a huge chunk of your mana back just for minions dying near you, which is nuts. Considering how much soaking that Leoric can do, this is a shitload of health for him. So the more that I see this talent, the more that I can see the value in it. I really like Consume Vitality for more team fighty maps like maybe BOE or Braxis, but Fealty Unto Death really, really good for these big maps where you have to soak a lot and you still have to stay in lane and you want to manage your resources a bit better. At 4, there is only one talent for this type of Leoric play, and that is Kneel Peasants. Kneel Peasants is going to make your Q. You can't leave, buddy. You trapped yourself. I'm so sorry to see you go. That is unfortunate. It's going to Death March right through them, and the sad part of that is, since we didn't have the range upgrade, Death March didn't stay latched on to Hogger, and he survived a little bit longer than I wanted him to. So I almost died to a Psionic Storm. I am trolling a bit. So Kneel Peasants, swing does 100% more damage to minions, mercenaries, and monsters. Considering that it does 329 right now, doing double that damage to a minion wave means we're just fucking clearing shit with basically 1 Q and maybe an auto. And I don't know if you remember, but that gives us a lot of % health back. It's fucking nuts. Now, our 7, we picked up Drain Momentum, which isn't bad. But when you're building March of the Black King, you want Hopelessness to make sure that those tethers last as long as possible with your W. So take this always when you're building this way, and that is just general rule of thumb for the build. March of the Black King, we're going to become completely unstoppable, walk forward, and swing our mace 3 times. Enemies hit are going to take 548 damage, and they're going to heal us for 12% of our max health. Nuts. Again, 12% is a huge number. But it is kind of tough to hit people multiple times with March of the Black King. So it is okay at dealing damage at 10. Where it really carries games is at level 20. When you get to apply the Death March. When Death March hits people, it is going to apply your Sadness Beam, your W, and that is going to be a talented version. So the AoE that you're swinging with March of the Black King is huge, but the percent health damage that you're really doing with it is insanely large. My team is trying to kill me with the body blocks. I need to leave, please. 17 health. Did you see? My God. And then you're also picking the other W talents to buff this so that Death March does as much damage as possible. Drain Hope cooldown is reduced by 0.75 seconds for every 1 second active. If it lasts its whole duration, we're going to reduce it by an extra 2 seconds. And then Crushing Hope is going to deal 15% of the target's maximum health as damage if the tether lasts its full duration. So you can see how those W talents are going to pair with Death March and basically just make Leoric an unkillable murder machine at 20. With the slightest bit of clumping on the enemy team, they're just completely fucked out of existence. And it's ridiculous how strong that this build can be if you need to carry a game with this character. Unfortunately, one of the things that it does not help you do is get your teammates to soak lanes and, you know, not die. But luckily my team was really good at that this game, so I was able to kind of soak lanes. And even though that part was boring, we did have a couple cool engages, which is ultimately really all you're looking for. You're going to soak all the way up to 20, then you're going to look for a big old mean team fight, slap the enemy team a couple times with your ult, and then watch them all die because they're losing 15% of their max health on top of whatever damage that you're doing to them with your team. So pretty good. Generally considered the carry build for Leoric. Even though you're not seeing the big damage numbers here, it's still extremely good for what it is. So, most soak though, and the most self-healing, and the most siege damage. Oh my god, those are numbers to be impressed by, right? Okay, Fealty unto Death at level 1, Neo Peasants at 4, Not Drain Momentum, you want Hopelessness at 7, March of the Black King at 10, Unyielding Despair at 13, Crushing Hope at 16, and then Death March at 20. And then carry games, once you hit that late game, just try not to feed super hard in the meantime, even though everybody wants that trait value. That's going to be it for me today. We're going to wrap this up for the week. No, just for today. I think, I'm not sure which one this will be. We'll start it off with Leoric. How about that? And I'll see you guys tomorrow.